something strange in the old corral. There's a breeze, though the wind has died. Though I'm alone in the old corral, seems there is someone at my side. Empty saddles in the old corral. Where do you ride tonight? Are you rounding up the doggies astray of long ago? Are you on the trail of buffalo? Empty saddles in the old corral. Where do you ride tonight? Are there rustlers on the border or a band of Navajo? Are you heading for the Alamo?
Yes, empty saddles. Whenever I sing that song, it calls to mind another group of men who also helped to tell the story of the Old West. Good people. Mighty fine people. They told the story without words on the silent screen. Told it to grown-ups, but mostly to children. And here's one of the very best, William S. Hart. Today we may smile a little, but what he showed us was honest and clean. Right was right and wrong was wrong. Nothing halfway. Old Bill Hart didn't believe in problems for young folks. And you know something? I don't either. Perhaps I learned this from him. It was a real privilege to know William S. Hart. Of course, there was another old-timer who spent much of his days teaching us about the early days of the West. One of Dale's favorites.
Roy, if you don't mind, I'd like to tell about Tom Mix. When I was just a little girl, I just loved him. He was always so strong and so brave and so very handsome. You know, I think I loved Tony, his horse, just as much. Both of them were part of a wonderful land where the bad guy seemed to be winning, but we knew he couldn't. Not when Tom Mix came riding in on Tony. He'd save us from the villains. And if Tom wasn't around to help us, Tony would. And then there was always another hero, Buck Jones. How many of you grown-ups have felt your hearts beat just a little faster when Buck Jones raced across that screen? Like Bill Hart and Tom Mix, he didn't waste any time with psychological problems, and he didn't pass them along to the youngsters either. As Roy said, a thing was right or it was wrong, and we knew that right would win, didn't we, Roy?
Well, if we didn't, all we had to do was just go to the show and see one of the greatest of them all, our own Will Rogers. Born in the West, Oklahoma to be exact, he loved it and he lived it. Oh, he went to Broadway, but he carried his ropes right along with him. And while he stood there on the stage of the great Ziegfeld Follies, he told the city folks all about this wonderful land of ours. Will said he never met a man he didn't like. I knew him real well, and I believe that. So did the folks in Washington. The big men and the little fellas, well, they used to just crowd around him and be wherever he went. Will Rogers was their kind of people. Honest, downright simple in words, and just about the finest human being who ever came out of the West. Yes, these are just a few of the men who come to mind. These are the sort of folks the Western minstrels sang about, and they always will.
Empty guns covered with rust, where do you talk tonight? Empty boots covered with dust, where do you walk tonight? Empty saddles in the old corral, my tears would be dry tonight. If you'll only say I'm lonely, as you carry my old house. Empty saddles in the old